second Warframe build video. This one is going to be on Dante, our 56 Warframe, the newest one that just came out recently. Honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with him. Like, I am having a lot of fun using Dante. And I've already composed a build that I find works good. We'll get into that build here in just a second. I will be going over both the build for the main frame and the tome of his Exalted Tome, Noctuna? Nocta? However the hell you want to pronounce that. Since we're right here, we'll start with the Arcane shards. I would suggest using 2 amber shards, or just using even amber tau shard or anything just to increase casting speed. I personally feel like 50% is going to be a mark for him to be. And then the other you can use however you want. If you want to use Crimson for ability strength, duration, or if you want to go all hell, that's completely up to you. But before we get into the actual build, let's go over his abilities. So his passive, that's going to be important to keep in mind when we get into his Exalted Weapon, because that's part of how I built his Exalted Weapon. Its passive is the book scans targets, recording information to your codex. Status chance is increased by 50% on fully scanned targets. So keep that in mind for when we get into the build for the book, because that actually is where a good portion of my damage is coming from. His first ability, which this is weird, his first ability is his Exalted Weapon, which it doesn't drain over time like most Exalted Weapons does. Instead, his drains per shot. It has a primary fire, which the primary fire, once it hits something, it will chain on behind them too, to 4 extra fragments, as long as it's within a 60-degree angle and 20 meters. It has an alternate fire, which honestly, think of it as, it's very similar to a Plasmor shot, just a little bit wider. Like, it's a book with a Plasmor fire. You might as well just say it like that. His second, his Light Verse. It is a way of healing. It grants a small amount of overguard, and has a radius of 20 meters. So this is both for your allies and you. We'll get into other uses of it in a moment. Dark Verse is his third ability and one of his damage abilities. It is AoE slash damage in a 50-degree angle for 20 meters. It will apply a guaranteed slash proc as well. But now we get to where Dante gets tricky. As we know, most Warframes have 4 abilities. Dante has 7. Because his 4th ability, Final Verse, is split up into 4 sub-abilities. How that works is you can only use Final Verse when you use 2 in any type of combination of light and dark verses. We will start going over these now. 2 light verses will activate Triumph. It gives a big chunk of overguard. And it also has a duration for a buff we've never seen before. This buff makes where kills and assist, you'll briefly start regenerating your overguard. This regeneration will go to the point that you had when the ability was activated. It will not go over that. It is basically to keep your overguard at the point of when you cast Triumph and the overguard Triumph added. If you do 2 dark verses, it gets Tragedy. This is going to be a bread and butter damage ability. Yet again, it's AoE. It does inflict a chunk of slash damage. Also, it takes any damage over time they've accumulated and multiplies it. So this is where you want to do like heat, toxin, stuff that affects for over time. Slash, of course, as he already does it, you want to do all that. Or at least one of them. If you do a light and dark verse, you get Word Warden. It will summon basically a copy of his tome that will support yourself and allies. The copy will attack with Phil for basically coordinated attacks. It does 30% of the damage, and it is a duration-based ability. Power Strength does not increase the damage of the Word Warden. Keep that in mind. His fourth variant is Page Light. It is cast by a Dark and Light verse. It summons pages that fly around and swoop and peck at enemies, basically. It does have the effect of drawing their attention away, and it weakens them for statuses. It does minuscule damage, honestly, so this is not a this is not really going to be damaging ability. However, what it does, it applies a status vulnerability. That vulnerability will allow you to add more statuses on them and make it a lot easier. But that's going to be the basis of Dante's abilities. We'll get into more later if it needs to be. As for the build, this one is, let's be honest, this build is heavy in Forma because of the book. But let's start with the Arcanes. Multi-Augmented is a nice one, any frame that has power string scaling. This one I would definitely recommend. Your second one, honestly, that's up to you. I personally use Blessing just because I like it for the extra, but I personally have never had Overguard with him. However, it's one of those things, I just have it there. Why not? Now, honestly, I'm normally using his tome, so a lot of other stuff don't really work for me. For Aura, I do use Growing Power. If you go with the build, this build I'm doing, and follow the build too, you will have no problem just constant proccing that. Or if you just want to bring a primary that's good for statuses such as Ignis, Effort, anything like that, Phage, just to smack something with a status to proc your Growing Power, that's fine. I went with a Power Drift for the obvious extra strength. Knockdown resistance I don't really care about. Yet again, I have Overguard. I'm not really going to give two shits. Honestly, until he came out, I completely forgot I had this mod. I forgot this whole thing. I'll be dead serious. I completely forgot about it. And I did not realize it. But Nero's Hatred, a little bit extra health, a little bit of duration, and it's not that heavy of a cost. It does increase damage from same attacks. Now keep this in mind. If you're using him with his melee that he came out with, it's in Karnon, it specializes in slam attacking. So that's always handy. Adaptation, a cornerstone of any survivability. It's just nice to have it. Just very good. Prime Flow, yeah, again, cornerstone of most people's builds. If you got it, max it out. If you want to use, I don't suggest using the Arcane variant for this, but whatever, honestly. Transient, good power strength, minus your duration a little bit, but that's fine. You can make that up. Narrow's Hatred will help with that. Prime Continuity, obviously duration. It's going to overbear what Transient's done. I did put one Umbral Forma into him for Umbral Vital. You could technically just use Vital Intensify. I personally like Dante enough to use the Umbrals and put an Umbral Forma into him, but yet again, that is completely optional. He will do fine without it. You might just be you'll be a little bit squishier and you won't have as much power strength, but overall, you're still going to do fine. This is the only off one about this. Energy Nexus. I put it on him because he is an ability spammer. He is an ability spammer. Whether you're spamming his 3 constantly to proc his 4 for Tragedy, or wherever you're casting Triumph to make sure none of your teammates die, it is just solid. I would like to say, if you follow this build and you die with Dante, I don't know what to say. I personally have not met anything that could kill me. I've never had all my overguard taken with this build. If you're worried about getting knocked down, he does have hyper armor in his casting. So like the Arcane Eximus, Flame, and all that stuff, you can hyper armor through it to recast. As far as your base overguard max from Lightverse and just in general, you're at a 38k 250 for his overguard cap, which that will start going up every time growing power procs. That's going to increase that overguard cap because that affects my power strength. Every time multi-augmented adds another stack, that's another thing that's going off. So you're going to, once you get max stacks and your growing power proc, your overguard caps barely over 50k overguard. That's where mine caps at is right about 50k. So you have an enormous chunk. Darkverse, honestly, 20 meters, you don't get that much off of that. Even Stretch only added 9 more meters. However, the reason I don't put any range on him is for, let me show you just as the example here as to why I don't use range. So it increases the radius by 9 meters, but it does nothing for the angle. I hate the fact that his angle does not go up with that. Base stats with the Archon shards, of course, it's been equipped. You're at 1258 health, 240 shield. He is not a shield frame. He really is not a shield frame. Do not build him for shields. Just don't. Save yourself trouble. 145 armor. He is no means a armor tank. He is no means of that. He is a pure overguard tank. 769 energy. You are going to be spamming that shit. So just good normal 1.15 sprint speed. A 143 duration. Base range and efficiency. And a 255 strength. Keep in mind this 255 strength will become 280 strength every time you apply a status effect with a weapon. This includes his Exalted Tome. This will, that 25% will get you to 280. So effectively you're at a 280 base. Because honestly, I have not seen that book what I do with it. I have not seen this book freaking not status proc somebody. But this will be the basis of your build. Now let's get into the pain of the other massive amount of Forma. So, 6 Forma. This build costs a total of 11 Forma. Your normal crit base mods for pistols. Prime Pistol Gambit, Prime Target Cracker, excuse me, Galvanized Fusion, and Hornet Strike. Its status chance is not the best on its normal shots. However, this is what I was talking about before though. Keep in mind, this thing will scan anything it hits. Once you have max scans, your status chance will increase by 50%. Meaning you will be basically getting a proc with every shot. So, and then you have the Dark Burst. The Dark Burst will apply a slash proc guaranteed, like how I have just heat on here. So every time my thing shot, I'm getting more heat procs on will slash. Galvanized shot. You're already going to have 2 things on them. Therefore, you're getting a 80% damage increase. So you can do something stupid with the, not stupid as bad, more like stupid as in lol. With the unique trait of Nocta, which is it honestly can just have all the tome mods. If you want to turn that thing into a full utility thing, you can. I personally don't. But I do use 2 for this. I use a recent vocation for the duration, because all of his abilities are duration based with the exception of his tome. And the Voam for ability strength. This will also increase your overguard cap when you cast. So this, I would, if you want to only use 1, I would suggest Voam over Wreath. But whatever you want to do, that is your choice. So before we start getting into the galvanized shot damage, you're looking at 86.1 crit for the base shot, 4.2 multiplier, 45 status. This is if you haven't shot the thing and scanned it before. It totals out 11,343 for his other thing. Keep in mind, it says this. However, the shot, it has a limited range, but it does have infinite punch through. It does not just have that punch through. Its infinite punch through, to me, seems to only apply through enemies. The shots will not go through the wall, from my experience. But you have a 129 crit chance with a crit multiplier 6.3, a 81% stat chance, totaling 124,869.7 damage. This is a high cost build, I know, of 11 Forma. However, we will get into that. Personally, I love the frame itself. Like, I really do. Let's get into doing just his stuff. Okay, there's the squads here. I don't really like the idea of doing solo with him. He can. I kind of find it more funny to make it to where people won't die instantly. We're going to stay in this for, I don't want the video to be too long, so we're probably going to stay in this about 10-15 minutes at the most. So this video is probably going to be about 30 to 35 minutes, if that. Don't like just showing some builds with just normal stuff here. So go ahead and start this. Seed of Procs already.
Mama have captured the dockets, you mean. Be aware.
And there we go, we're at 42k already.
Appetite for dockets.
Keep in mind those chain fragments from the solo fire will sit there and only chain two things behind the target you hit first.
Excellent. Look for a conduit with a matching glyph.
Oh. That was me, just got turned around. Now the only thing I will say about his book, the secondary fire seems to be a little bugged right now. Because no matter where you aim, sometimes it will just nope into the floor for some reason. So that is kind of a complaint for it.
That's it. Protect the conduit and watch out for enemy necromex.
This mission is actually where you farm Dante's parts too. I'm still trying to get the other weapon you get from here, so... So, who knows, I might get lucky to get that from this, that would be amazing. That's weird.
A Grusling. It'll certainly have a docket, but it might also have the final chapter to that book I was reading.
There it is. Okay. His tome is a great weapon, honestly. He really does not need another weapon. His final verse is a good room clear for just doing it. This. Now keep in mind the final verse strategy is full AoE, where his normal stuff is a cone. So do keep that in mind. Past that. Whoops. Excellent. I just thought something that might increase my damage more of this. This not occurred to me before. So, summon the book with growing power, it should have more damage now. I'm not sure if it snapshots it or not. I'll need to actually go into testing to find out if it snapshots or not. It probably doesn't. So this might just be me trying to see what I can do with it. For Max, we're just tanky no matter what you do, honestly. Even this is why I use the energy drain mod. That name just randomly escapes me for some reason. Because this is literally the only frame I've used it on before.
How dare you? It's no such
It
thing.
is because he spans abilities, his tome costs,
agreed.
energy to use, but it is such a good weapon. I was excited to see how Dante looked and everything, so I did get Dante with Blast. But you can sit there and very easily just farm out Dante through this mission. I will show you where you go to get him after you've done a few runs of his mission. After I'm done with this. This will be the way of showing how you farm him too, which I probably should start doing that in other build videos. That'll be for later on. I will start doing that. And why isn't that person inserting the docket? Okay, here we are.
Docket verified. Protect the conduit.
It'd be nice if I could actually get the weapon I'm trying to farm. But yeah, just from doing these, farming the Purview stuff just to get the weapon I'm looking for, if it doesn't drop. I've gotten Dante's blueprint and systems to drop already. So it does, his stuff does have a decent drop right here. It's dropped by the Necromech. So I mean, the more Necromechs you kill, the better it is for you. Only problem with Smish mode, it can take a minute just because the sheer amount of shinies come to drop the docket. So sometimes with those marines, it's got two legs. If you shoot them from one side, it seems like sometimes the fragments will actually strike out towards them and hit the other leg. I didn't have gunpowder on that time. So yeah, we're at 45k.
A Grusling has appeared. Hooray!
Okay, I can go to the Kira one. Already done to do that. Is shot so mint on the tome? It does take a minute to get used to. I'm still trying to get used to myself. But there seems to be like a light second delay between the actual dot itself
With a little luck, I was
and
able to
pressing.
reverse the conduit's burden. Can you feel the difference?
Not really, because it's a little threat boost, but okay. But you do get these vessel capillaries for
That's all of them. Stand
doing,
by for more conduits.
come here. For doing those necromechs, for killing them. That's what you're going to use to buy the part if you don't get them to drop in the mission.
Here we go again.
Bye, it's already trying to leave. Who is that person? Okay. We'll do at least one more round. thinking do one more round and show you where you can go to get all that. Fair warning for anybody that has not done the Whispers in the Wall. There will be spoilers involved.
What Drusus needs.
Four drop. I actually have never gotten a 4-drop from that. So can't wait for the comedy value that'd be when a Arcane hunt has this where you can use him in it with the bonuses and stuff, because that's gonna be just funny. Okay. Liking the randomly getting 4. I've only just gotten 2 and he very much plays into the mage type, which I love that. If it's not obvious from my model D&D stuff, yeah. I do love that. So this is probably going to become one of my very quickly more used frames. I will say the only annoying thing is sometimes when you get rewards in this mode, it will just randomly throw them behind the pillars. You don't know what you get unless you pause to take a look at your stuff. Also keep in mind the higher base, your damage of your Grimoire will go up as your power stream increases. So if it's using the book more for him, it does give you a scaling weapon too.
A new set of conduits is opening.
Okay.
Up for another round?
Now we will extract so I can... Actually, there's a perfect example of how his parts come. Because there was the systems.
You're on.
The higher difficult stuff, of course, you're going to have to recast a lot more of your other stuff. But he has so much survivability. He has good damage built into his stuff. Dante is a great all-arounder. And honestly, he excels at some of the stuff that... I did that. But he excels at a lot of stuff. Realistically, if I could, I wouldn't even give him a weapon. I would just put him on and just pop my one and go to town. Just so you can see the other stuff though. Just so you can see how they look. A lot of times I do forget to use these. But there, just so you can take a look at how this stuff looks. Oh well. Did I get lucky and get the part I need? Nope. But this is what you'll get. Oh fuck, I am 100 and... 6 off of what I need. But where you will go to trade in stuff will be the Sanctum. I am not trying to say that other part.
Might you have time for a quick run?
Shut up, fish.
That's a pun.
One must make the best. I was
You'll
trained
come
assist
to
on
Lloyd.
comedians, not
You have
warriors or
the
animals.
research Dante.
What you have gathered may be of use.
You can get the blueprint. You can literally just trade in that stuff for the parts for him to build. As you can see, honestly, he is not that hard to get. Like his costs are pretty mediocre. The only thing that might be slightly annoying if you don't like to search is
Dante's
the
works
Bella
on ancient
Vocas.
Earth archaeology were some of the finest in their field.
This is his melee
Many
that
back
came
then
out with.
refused to
That
accept
is
a mere
a Incarnate
warframe.
weapon.
Could have written them.
I haven't gotten this yet to try. It is a, I believe it's a cannon. I haven't really looked into it. It costs $360. It's an Incarnate weapon, so that part's neat. Ribbon transmuters. Just another way to
Dante
get rid
shared
of
the
those unwanted
entrancing
ribbons.
fascination with bones.
Shut up, Lloyd.
I was content
couple
to let him
captura
explore our
scenes,
old burial vaults
and
and ossuaries.
For some
But his
reason, they
request to examine
thought
my
that was needed,
unreplicated
but
skull was a
I
step too
don't
far.
see the point of this.
Otherwise,
And then
his
if the
manners
Bella
were
Voca
impeccable.
are a problem, don't forget, you can
So
always
much of what we do
trade for
resembles
Voca.
magic. No wonder we found demons in the forbidden spaces.
You can always just trade for Voca.
There we are then.
And that's also how you can rank up and stuff with him.
Will there be anything else, Tenno?
And a lot of them will cost the
Splendid.
smaller ones for the bellows. But
Our service
that
not a
is
shadow
it for
of
that.
yours.
Feel free to leave any type of build notes you have in the comments, any type of ideas, variations you find that work well. He is still a new frame. There's still tons of ways. I'm not claiming I know everything about him. I just really enjoy using him. And I've done what I can with him so far. But there'll always be things come out. Of course, augments will come out later, and that will possibly change how he reacts to a lot of scenarios. If you have a suggestion on what frame you'd like to see next, please leave a comment below. I will try to get these out. I'm going to try to do these bi-weekly, so once every 2 weeks now, because I had to put off a bit till I got this new mic in. But if you like what you're seeing on this, feel free to subscribe to this channel, or you can always just come follow me on Twitch. I do play Warframe weekly on Twitch, at least once a week. And I'm always down to help anybody that needs it, whether it be just build questions, or if you have a part you're stuck on that isn't a solo quest and I can help in, I will gladly join and help, whether it be Arcane hunt, Etcher cells, whatever. I am more than happy to help people with that. The only content I really don't like doing is farming. But for that, thanks for watching. Everybody have a good night.